Hey there, this is Tiff from the Tiffany Micah podcast, and welcome to today's episode. You know, this comes up a lot, and I see this in golf, especially because I obviously teach golf quite a bit these days. But in conversations, I've had this with many young athletes as well, and it comes up a lot too. It's about how come, this is a question that comes up all the time, how come I play so much better in practice? That's always the question. How come I play so much better in practice? And you know what? Simple terms. You play better in practice because there's no pressure. People don't perform well in pressure. Athletes, professional athletes, the ones at the top know how to perform under pressure. But what really happens is, if you think about it, the golfers that I work with tend not to practice too much, but if you do practice your skills, you tend to practice your skills in a non-pressure environment. Because you know what? It doesn't matter if you make a mistake, because you can just go again. So I see this all the time at the driving range, and I hear it when people come in and talk to me about, their golf and so on. And they talk about how, I played so awesome at the driving range. I hit the ball so well, and I hit it nice and straight, and I did this, and I got my rhythm together, and everything was so fantastic. Yet I get out on the golf course and it all falls apart. Well, of course it falls apart, because there's reasons that it falls apart. Because one, if you make a mistake on the driving range, you just hit another ball. Another reason is that it doesn't matter if you make a mistake, because it's when you're out on the golf course, one shot counts, doesn't it? You have to play that shot, but on the driving range, it doesn't matter. So you just repeat again. So the environment's different. You create a nice, easy rhythm, and you get your swing into a groove at the driving range. There could be 5 minutes between the next shot before you play your next shot. And it's the same with, any athlete. Like, I've spoken to tennis players and rowers and athletes and so on, runners and so on. And they say, I train so hard. And I do so well when I train. But in competition, I just don't do so well. And I'll give you some examples. I'll talk about some golfers, right? So most golfers that I work with are the older adults. So they're, I guess I'm getting close to that too, but they're the older adult, right? They're over 55 years of age. Most likely, the ones that I've spoken to, especially over the last number of years, is that they had limited sport as a child. So when they became an adult, they've tended to get married and have kids and work and so on. And they've never really competed in sport, like at a high level in sport. And so when they come out to learn how to play golf, and when they come out to play golf, they find that when they're playing in competitions, they struggle, because you know what? They haven't been exposed to it. They don't know how to perform at that level in a competition. And see, this happens as well when, whether it be tennis players or rowers or, those running on the track. Same thing. Right, they train hard, they do all their sprint work, they do their endurance. Tennis players, they play points, they work on their techniques. Rowers, they work on their technique and they work on refining it, and they train hard and they do tests and all of this sort of thing, and practice racing and all of that kind of thing. Runners do the same, right? Swimmers do the same. But when it comes to competition day or tournament day, they don't perform as well. They struggle. Now, this is common. And then you get the parents. I was watching my niece play soccer on the weekend, which I'm really excited because I'm going to get to be the assistant coach, so I'm excited about that. But I was watching my niece, she's 11, and she was playing soccer on the weekend, and they got parents screaming at the kids, come on, go, get this one, get that one. Come on, focus. And that's great. That's great to yell out to the kids, focus, but if you don't know how to focus, and most people don't, if you don't know how to focus, how can you do it? Being focused is a learned skill. You've got to learn how to focus. It doesn't just naturally happen. You've got to train yourself to focus. And I remember when I was growing up, and my mum used to say about me going walkabout when I played tennis, and that meant mentally I went off to another world. And my dad used to say that I wasn't giving it a go. Well, actually I was, but I just didn't know how to maintain my focus because I started to worry about what was going to happen, the end result. So the question becomes, how do you play better in tournaments? How do you play better in competitions? And this is the main one. It's learning how to focus. That's really the answer to the question. You've got to learn how to focus. And here are some steps for you to practice to help you focus better. So one is meditation. Now meditation is used you can use it as a box breathing exercise and just do it for 5 minutes. But if you're actually meditating and breathing in, breathing out and counting as you go, it teaches you how to focus. That's the secret to it. Number 2, practice. Practice staying in the moment when you're training, because you know what? You can only give your best effort when you're in the moment. Some people just rock up with training, but they're not mentally there. You've got to make sure that you're mentally there when you're training. Okay, so when you're practicing the skills, when you're doing the running, when you're doing the sprinting, when you're doing the endurance work, when you're doing the weight training, whatever it is that you're doing, make sure you're staying in the moment when you train, when you're working on your skills in your sport. Make sure you're there. Don't just go through the motions, because if you only go through the motions and you're like half-assed, so to speak, when you're in your when you're training, that's going to happen when you're out there playing and performing. Okay, when you're playing in your competition. So you need to make sure that you're completely focused in everything that you do, because that, again, is going to help you perform better on game day. Number 3, practice at targets. So I want you to be thinking about what can you use as practice targets. So like tennis, it could be serving. Golf, it could be, you got to hit the ball into the hole, from a chip or a pitch or something until you move on. Running, you could be focusing on a particular line, same in swimming or rowing. What are the targets that you can put in place to make you really focus on what you need to do? Then number 4 is pressure practice. What can you do to put pressure on yourself in practice, right? So tennis, it could be you've got to serve your ball down the center of the tee box and it's got to hit a specific spot 10 times before you go and do something else. Golf, it could be that you've got to chip or pitch the ball into the hole. Running, it could be you've got to make a certain time, or same in swimming or rowing, cycling. Right. What is it that you can do that you've got to put yourself under pressure, and then if you don't reach that goal, then you've got to do it again until you get there, right? Pressure. And then 5, when you're playing competition, this is simple, right? You've got to just do this. Focus on one shot at a time, or one movement at a time. Focus on one stroke at a time. Focus on creating your rhythm. Focus on doing the best that you can in that moment. Okay, so you got to these 5 things: meditate, practice, so practice staying in the moment, practice at targets, 4, practice pressure, and 5, when you're playing, focus on one shot at a time. That is how you're going to be playing better when you're out there competing. So I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'd love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today. If you've got friends that you know that would benefit from these episodes, love it too if you could share with your friends these episodes, because we want to build this Reach Your Potential with TIFF community as big as we possibly can. If you've just got 30 seconds to spare, I would really appreciate a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, go after your dreams. Have an awesome day. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye.
Yeah.